What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's the day we finally talk about the amazing digital circus. At long last, since, again, this is yet another topic that I have been heavily requested to do numerous times by a very substantial and surprising number of people, actually, especially after my murder drones video that I made last year. And of course, tomorrow, as of recording, is the launch of episode 6, as confirmed by the trailer that we got last week. Glitch, this came a lot quicker than a lot of us even anticipated. I don't think anybody expected the episode to come out that soon until that trailer came out last week, which, by the way, fucking love it. Especially the one bit where Jax and Pomni are going full Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino style on that one snippet, looking like John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson, pointing at the camera lens with their guns, reenacting one of the greatest bits of cinema of all time. Legendary movie. But, the trailer came out last week, and episode 6 will be coming out tomorrow, and, you could have just, gave us a little bit of warnings, like, what you used to do with murder drones, like, I don't know, probably like a teaser of some sort. I mean, that would have been nice. Although, we kind of did get a sneak peek at San Diego Comic-Con just a couple of weeks ago. I wonder if those two things are related. Anyways, before I get ahead of myself, it's time to review and, analyze this series. Now, most of you guys probably were already introduced by it if you are a fan of, Glitch's previous works like Murder Drones, Meta Runner, SMG4. Amazing Digital Circus is one of their more popular, if not the most popular project Glitch has ever worked on by far. It has a massive cult following, one that can even rival other mainstream shows like Gravity Falls, Phineas and Ferb, The Owl House, SpongeBob, Rick and Morty, Family Guy even. Its pilot, once it launched, literally became one of their most viewed videos and still is to this day, gaining hundreds of millions of views in less than a month. And even at times, the legacy media has even paid attention to it because of its sudden rise to glory. So this series was first announced around late 2022, right around the time the second episode of Murder Drones came out. And, there's been teasers and trailers going on about what it might entail. It's this one wacky little circus show where this ringleader that has teeth with eyeballs in it for a head, wearing a suit and a top hat. And, it's a circus-themed show, so it might be a bunch of his wacky-looking circus peeps doing weird, stupid fucking tricks for our own amusement, some of which might be dangerous, sort of like a Cirque du Soleil type of thing, but animated. And there might be some storytelling and, of course, some world building thrown in there too, because can't really have a good series without good storytelling and good lore paired with it. Like, upon seeing the first teaser trailer, that's initially what a lot of us thought. And nobody expected it to, have this success that it has right now. People thought it was just going to be just another one of those shows like Murder Drones, where it's going to have a significant following, but nothing super special or nothing that can be, overwhelmingly incredible. So when the pilot launched, after all these trailers and teasers that we got, and people were already curious the more these teasers and trailers kept coming out, once the pilot had officially come out, it instantly set the internet on fire. And quite literally, after that same pilot garnered over 100 million views in less than 4 weeks, making it one of the fastest growing pilots and one of the fastest growing debut of any online series in history. So people were absolutely fucking hyped up once the pilot first launched. And you can clearly and already see that the popularity of this series is almost entirely unavoidable. You've probably already heard about it before. In fact, it's already gotten so popular that even articles from the legacy media are talking about it too. So even the legacy media is aware of the Amazing Digital Circus and its success. So, of course, I myself am a fan of this series. Also forgot to mention that it's on Netflix, although they really haven't updated it in quite some time, since episode 3. I got no fucking clue what happened to that deal, so please don't ask. But anyway, this series follows a group of humans that are trapped in like this almost backrooms like liminal virtual wonderland. And it's not a real place. It's like this 90s, 2000s computer game. It has that same aesthetic. And how these humans get there is that they put on this headset and they magically get transported into this digital world. And once they get in, they can't come out and they're basically trapped there forever. And this whole digital circus wonderland is controlled, well, this whole software in general is controlled by a super intelligent being who takes the form of a circus ringleader named Kane, and his associate, Bubble, which, self-explanatory, is a bubble. And because they can't leave, they're trapped in this world forever, Kane tries to send these dudes all into like these wacky adventures just to keep them busy, whether that be making them explore a haunted mansion or making them put the fries in the bag. It can literally be anything, something beyond the imagination. Kane is the one who has like absolute full control on what goes on in the amazing digital circus. So it makes sense that he's the one that creates some of these adventures. And each adventure has like a completely different theme, a different story, a different plot, sometimes even multiple different objectives. And the longer the series goes, the more world building that we get, the more development that we get from these characters. So we get to learn more what is happening and what they were doing even outside of the circus and whatnot. Now, there's about 6 of these humans in our story, but a lot of it follows the one that just joined in the pilot, Pomni, who is like this clown jester looking character who was actually very anxious early on and then grew to become a lot more comfortable with everyone that she is surrounded with and pretty much accepting her fate, that she is trapped in there forever. Like one time she was just looking for the exit, and then the other time she's just hanging out with a lot of the characters and doesn't mind any of the adventures. And once these humans get into the digital circus, they lose their human form and they morph into like these wacky looking avatars. I've already mentioned one. Pomni is like a jester. Jax is like this tall purple bunny. Gangle is nothing but a ribbon and a mask with a comedy mask that breaks literally all the time. Kinger is a king chess piece, hence his name. Ragatha looks like a rag doll, and Zubul is like this weird character with like a body of a jelly bean and detachable and customizable limbs. So all these characters were once humans who lived in the living world. They somehow got transported into this digital world just by putting on a headset attached to some computer in an abandoned building. And now they're trapped in this world. There's clearly no escape. They're being held under siege by a super intelligence, and now have to complete all of these adventures till the end of time, or until something else happens to them. Abstraction. Now, if you've watched the pilot, abstraction is when you completely and absolutely lose all hope of living in the digital world, and you question your sanity to the point where you end up turning nihilistic and you completely lose it and go fucking nuts and everything is meaningless now. So what happens is that you completely glitch out and you turn into like this eldritch looking monster with like a bunch of eyes surrounded by you, and you then uncontrollably start randomly attacking fucking everyone and everything. And as a result, you get doomed into the cellar by Kane, meaning that it's pretty much permanent. We saw this happen with Kaufmo in the pilot. Gooseworks, the creator, confirmed that Ribbit was the previous one that abstracted before Kaufmo. Now we're just waiting to see who's next. By the way, upcoming theory video depending on what we see in this upcoming episode. So you're basically stuck in this world forever or until you get abstracted. God forbid we see that happen again, but knowing Gooseworks and what happened at the end of episode 9 and, all the hints that they gave out during the table read, I am certainly not all too convinced that something good is going to come out of this. Just saying. I'm just putting that out there. Something definitely fucked up is going to happen at the end. But, overall, I absolutely love this series to death. It's from the same dudes who created Murder Drones, Glitch, who, by the way, I think have a shot of like winning Emmys and Oscars and all these other accolades. They are the A24 of the animation world. Same country, by the way, also produces other good shows out there too, like Smiling Friends. The same fucking country that produced Knife Party, Pendulum, AC/DC, Laserbeam, Steve Irwin, Heath Ledger, Hugh Jackman, and all this other cool shit. Oh, and also, don't forget, Oscar Piastri Props to the nation of Australia to produce better content than what Hollywood makes nowadays. America, the Australians are clearly beating us in our own game. Time to wake up. But yeah, either way, Amazing Digital Circus, please give it a fucking watch. It is really, really good. And really, you gotta be heavily, and I mean heavily invested in it to actually get what the fuck is going on. Because even just looking at it at face value, you would still have absolutely no fucking clue what's going on. Because literally in each episode, or in each adventure, there's always just so much and a lot going on. There's a lot of world building, there's a lot of character development, there's also plenty of other things that are going on in the background. Like, you seriously have to, pay close attention to what's going on in order to get the full story, and to also understand the broader lore. Like, I'll admit, it's got a pretty deep lore. So I would suggest starting from the pilot, and then watching the recent episode, and then when the next one comes out tomorrow, or today, depending on when this comes out, you can watch that one. It really is great. It kind of reminds me a little bit like the Twilight Zone. Not Twilight Zone as in, each time it's a completely different story and a completely different scenario. With the Amazing Digital Circus, it's just one story with the same characters, but they're placed in different situations. They're placed in different storylines. That's what these adventures really are. On one day, they're out rescuing the princess. On another day, they're at a haunted mansion. On another day, they're playing baseball. Or they're at McDonald's working. They're the same set of characters, but each adventure is its own different story. And with each and every single one of these adventures, you get to learn more about a specific character. Like with the McDonald's episode, you learn more about Gangle and her situation. This series packs so much in one different package, and I can understand why Gooseworks says she doesn't want to work on a second season. I can totally see why there's only going to be one season of this. Because at that point, what the fuck else can you do to help develop the story? You've already got a complete package with just one season and 8 or 9 episodes. At that point, it's what the fuck can you do in a second season, besides filler episodes and just random adventures that nobody gives a fuck or shit about? When you have good storytelling and when you have good lore, it is way more likely for it to succeed for the long run, no matter how long or short the series is. And that's why I love this series so much, and that's why a lot of people love it so much. It's got the same storytelling and lore that you wouldn't see anywhere else besides, Deltarune, Undertale, Five Nights at Freddy's. It's one of those types that has such a deep and interesting lore, and it develops a cult following out of it. Now, a lot of this inspiration comes straight from a book called I Have No Mouth But I Must Scream. You're trapped in this world, and you are held under siege by a super intelligent being who has complete and full control of your entire environment, including your mind, although unable to wipe memories for some reason. Anyways, I really enjoy it. I love the lore. I love the story. I love the characters. I especially love the animation. Again, these are the same dudes who created Murder Drones, which already has a stellar 3D animation. But Amazing Digital Circus is obviously a lot more colorful than Murder Drones, which is a little bit darker in tone. Not to say that this series is also pretty dark in and of its own, but I'm looking forward to this next episode. Amazing Digital Circus, 10 out of 10. Highly recommended series. Watch the fucking series, pilot, recent episode, and this next episode that is coming out. I definitely think it's worth the hype. The fact that the pilot got over 100 million views in less than a month is pretty insane. And for an indie animation project like this, that's unheard of. Even Mr. Beast is a fan of the series. And it's already gotten to the point where there are literally pop-up shops and restaurants that are themed of the Amazing Digital Circus in places like Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, none of which, unfortunately, in the United States. Please bring one of these to Miami or Orlando, Glitch, especially knowing that South Florida has such a massive viewing of Amazing Digital Circus. I'm sure we peeps down here would greatly appreciate it. But, there's a lot of restaurants and stores that are themed of Digital Circus. Now all I'm awaiting is for one to open here in the United States, and for a G Fuel flavor that is themed after the Amazing Digital Circus. Hey, if that G Fuel flavor ever comes out, Alex, Lizzie, want to do an unboxing and taste test with me? Your presence will certainly be appreciated. Either way, before this video ends up becoming too long for my fucking rambling, that's just my overall thoughts on the Amazing Digital Circus. Indie animation is certainly dethroning mainline legacy media, and, you love to see it. Anyways, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button down below. And if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the little notification bell. Don't forget to follow me on all my social medias. Links are in the description below, including and especially to my X, also known as Twitter. That's the first link that you'll see in that section. I post memes, thoughts, updates, and other miscellaneous things there. Definitely one of the better ways to keep in touch and stay in touch with me. And I know I've been getting overwhelming requests to join Blue Sky. A lot of you guys have been asking for that. That is also included in there. I promise I will be more active on Blue Sky. At least, I'll try and make an attempt to. So, of course, X, Blue Sky, follow me on either of those, and all the other links that you'll see there. Also, share this video around with your friends, families, boyfriends, girlfriends, enemies, whomever. Definitely helps me out a lot, helps the video grow, and helps grow the channel if you were to share this video with whomever you know. And of course, I'm open to suggestions. What else do you want me to cover? Again, like I said, indie animation is the future. If there is an indie project you want me to check out, don't forget to let me know and maybe I'll get into it. You can also send me some news tips and video ideas that you want me to cover in a future video. DMs are open on X, so don't be shy to suggest something for me to cover in a future video, and of course, let me know what you think about the amazing Digital Circus. Is it one of your favorite shows? What is your favorite indie animation project? What is your favorite show that you're watching right now? Again, at the end of every video, I love to pass the conversation straight down to you to see what you guys think. So either way, like, subscribe, ring notifications, and until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, talk soon, you're awesome.